All set?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are live now.
Hi, good evening. This is such a wonderful evening. We are almost 1 month in quarantine and all sitting at home fighting a war against the virus, right? At this moment, we also remember all the frontline heroes who are actually fighting for us out at the hospitals, out at the streets, so that we can stay home and we can remain safe and finally we can save lives. So I'm very happy today that we have got a 11 team of students, I mean 11 students as a team who have come from multiple schools. So they are from 11 schools and they are from 6 cities all across. It's such a wonderful moment because we are here to hear their perspective and their voice as a student community. We've got many webinars going where teachers are sharing their experiences on what is happening, what was happening, and what should happen, right? So I think here is an opportunity to hear the voice of the students. We are all using virtual backgrounds, so there is a high possibility that sometimes we will be automatically trimming our hairs and, we're just trying this because when you do something with the students, we need to do something different, right? So they have also displayed their school's logo behind wherever possible. And I take this opportunity to thank the Brainfeed Magazine to bringing such a collection together of students. Now, only one brief which I have given to the students is to speak their heart out totally. No matter they are here in the capacity as a student of a specific school, but they're here to speak their heart out. So I would like to do a quick introduction of all the students, and I would invite one student at a time, talking a little bit about lockdown, and then we'll go specific and try to hear their voice more and more. Welcome all students. Thank you for joining me today. And I'm here, no matter they call me as the chair of the panel, but I'm here to hear you today. So do not allow me to talk much and you talk much, okay? And all of you are teenagers, so you can speak your heart out. So welcome all of you. So now I would call out names and you can start expressing what you feel. So my first question is, we are almost 31 days into the quarantine. We're all staying at home. Yash, you want to start on your life during lockdown? What kind of fun you're having? What kind of challenges you're facing? Quickly, your thoughts. Please.
Hello everyone, I'm Yash Joshi from Balbhavan Public School, New Delhi. I study in grade 12th and it's been 31 days as Sir said in lockdown, and it's been a tough time managing school studies while being online, having imperfect and irregular connections and not having accessibility to go out. It's been tough for me, but we are managing, we are learning new things, we are doing new things. So yeah, it's been a good experience, new thing for us. So that's all.
Yeah, yes, it's new for all of us. So no matter we are teachers, we are students, we are parents, everyone, it's a new experience. Probably never in our history we have seen all of us sitting at home and actually working together. Over to you, Shraddha. What are your perspectives, Shraddha?
Hi, I'm Shraddha. I'm from Yobati Public School, Coimbatore. During this lockdown, I actually have 2 more board exams left. I'm in grade 12. So since everything's in a standstill, it was a shock for all of us. But now I'm slowly coping with it and I'm using this time to develop personally, do something productive, spend my time usefully overall.
Yeah, that's good. And so are you, Shraddha, just adding to one more question to you, are you anxious about your balance examinations? Are you still preparing for those examinations?
Initially, I was, because I was a little worried whether we would have it immediately after this close, but then they kept extending it. So we know that we'll have like a 10-day gap to learn. So I'm kind of bagging on those 10 days to prepare again, but I'll still keep in touch in between when I get time, but not as much as before though.
And just to add to that, even your board, the CBSE board, is also very anxious. They are also wanting to ensure that your papers are corrected, your examinations are conducted. But I'm sure they will give you enough time. So good, you're not anxious. Good. But remain focused. Himanshi, over to you. What would you like to share?
Hi, good evening. My name is Himanshi Samyal. I live in New Delhi. I'm in grade 12 and I study in Mount Abu Public School. So in this lockdown, my life has been completely changed because I think like my both mental and my emotional state have become imbalanced. So every day I'm busy all in my online classes and don't get the time to do something creative. I feel like though I'm having a lot of time in my hand to do everything correct to improve interpersonal relationships and getting my life back on the track, but still I think due to this online classes I'm not getting time. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Himanshi. Pragya, would you like to share your perspective about lockdown? So
Good
you can
evening.
talk in general, not necessarily only learning. Okay, I want to see both the sides of the coin.
Yeah, sure. So good evening. My name is Pragya and I'm from Meridian School in Hyderabad. I study in class 12. So lockdown, it's been here for a month and I've been doing many things actually. I've been studying like online classes, of course, but I've also been watching more movies than I could before and reading more books because now there's like more time to do more things. And I've been trying to learn new skills and let's see how that goes. I've also been watching the world come together on the internet during these trying times, and it's really interesting to see how different people react to a global pandemic like this. So yeah.
Good. It's nice. We could hear more about your life. Saurabh, would you like to share?
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. My name is Saurabh Bansal, and just 1 second, sir. So 1 second, sir. It's a connectivity issue I'm facing.
No problem, but we can hear you. No problem.
Yep. So I'll just start again.
Yeah.
So yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Saurabh Bansal. I'm in class 12. I study in Chhatrapur Narsingh School, Mumbai. So talking about my life, okay. So it's quite a lot of time that I've spent with online lectures, unstable internet connections, which kind of does not work for me personally. But I'm really happy of the fact that I'm getting more time to spend with my parents, and also I'm happy because I see a lot of people following this social distancing concept. Helping flatten the curve of coronavirus infections. So I'm living in a biggest hotspot city of India, which is Mumbai. So it's quite difficult for me, but I think I've managed some parts. Here in Mumbai, the rules are very, very strict. So, I have no way to get outside, get some fresh air, which is very, very depressing because I can't stay at one place. Talking about my life, it's a bit difficult for me to live without Coke and Pepsis. So, yeah. So in the end, I would say that it's manageable. We are managing. We are learning new things. And yeah, that's it.
Good. I think maybe they say always that 21 days is good enough to form a habit. Maybe you'll get many more better things doing, right? Vasudha, would you like to share your thoughts?
Hello, I'm Vasudha. I'm from Jubilee Hills Public School, Hyderabad. I'm in grade 12 and I've been in it for more than a year now. I still have one exam remaining. But the lockdown has completely changed my life. Ironically, 3 months ago, I barely had time to sleep because I was preparing for the boards. And now I've got the most amount of time in the whole world. So I'm just busy compensating for all the months I've lost watching shows and reading new novels.
Good. I think, it's like going in a super fast train and suddenly you reached, you can see the station. Just before the station, the train is just waiting, right? So you can see the station, but you have not reached the station, right? That's the kind of feeling.
Exactly.
Which usually happens. Yeah.
I don't even know if I should be studying or just whiling away time.
Yeah, good. Aryan, would you like to share your thoughts?
Thank you so much, sir. First of all, good evening to everyone who are attending this session. And my wish that all your family members, including you, are safe, well, and fine. So talking about my life, my daily schedule, the life has become quite monotonous. It is dull and boring. but there's some factor which we need to make it more interesting. For that, I've been attending a few physics courses, I've been attending programming lectures, and I've been pursuing my hobbies, such as I'm writing a book currently, and I hope that this will help me while away my time. But my daily schedule is the same. It is like waking up, then studies, attending online lectures. That's it. Nothing much, nothing more about it.
Good,
And
good.
I agree to Saurabh, as he said, in Mumbai, it is really difficult to get out nowadays. So let's hope so it gets resolved in matter of time.
So I
Hope is
think,
all we have.
yeah, so I think that's because we feel that we want to get out, right? So if you start feeling that the moment you get out of your house, it's going to affect other lives, that will probably give you more strength from getting out, right? Even I stay in Mumbai and I know what you're exactly talking about. But I think we should feel that kind of responsibility. Sometimes going out, is almost required, but sometimes staying in is also required. Thank you so much, Aryan.
Thank you.
Nikhil, how's it going in Chennai?
There's a lockdown here too. I haven't left the house in about 20 days, which is pretty depressing because before the lockdown, I used to spend at least 3 hours playing basketball every day.
Oh.
And now online classes are, I'm coping with them. I really have to appreciate my teachers for all the efforts they're putting in. And I'm not going to say it's not helpful. It's actually pretty helpful. As long as the students are willing to learn, they're going to find the classes effective. And I think that the online classes are a great initiative taken by the schools and must be appreciated.
Good. Thank you, Nikhil.
Thanks.
Arushi, would you like to share your thoughts? Hyderabad.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Arushi Bendigeri, and I'm studying in grade 12 at Silver Oaks International School. So, like everyone, my schedule has also changed. I'm a person who loves spending time outside, but due to the lockdown, I'm at home. But I've taken it in a positive manner. Uh, I've been learning new things. I've been spending more time with my family, and like everyone else, I've been taking classes online, and I've been learning new things. Like I've been practicing my hobbies, like playing my guitar. So it's been a fun experience.
Good. You find Hyderabad is little bit, everyone is staying at home. You find that practice happening?
Yes. So especially where I live right now, nobody goes out other than when it's required, like only for groceries or any essentials that's required. That's the only time people step out. But other than that, people are practicing it so that we could stop the spread of COVID-19.
Good. Kushi, what do you have some thoughts about lockdown?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Khushi Bhatt, and I currently study in grade 12, Evergreen Senior Secondary School, Vasundhara Enclave, Delhi. And basically, if I talk about my schedule during the lockdown period, it has changed a lot. Apart from my online classes that are going on 7 days of the week, I am spending out time to re-explore my hobbies like culinary art and working on my fitness. So that is what is we can do, right? So I'm just trying to accept the reality and just enjoying the process.
Good. I think it's so nice to hear, and I'm sure I spoke to everyone, right? Himanshi, I think her camera is not visible, but I think I spoke to Himanshi too. But yeah, I mean, lockdown has been taking a little bit on everyone, right? Because my perspective being, I used to also travel a lot, both outside Mumbai for work, for conferences, and to meet people. Suddenly, you are like jailed at home. Initial 1 week was really a testing moment, right? Because you had to actually tie yourself down. But then when you start watching what's happening outside, and if you start imagining the responsibility you have by staying at home, if you start feeling that responsibility, that you are actually saved lives, then you actually, it becomes easier. And then I slowly started falling into the schedule of what we should do, what we shouldn't do, during when you're sitting at home. So I think everyone gets into a schedule slowly and steadily. I really appreciate that you have all acknowledged about online teaching done by students through their schools. The school teachers are putting a lot of efforts. Imagine them when they were at school, they might be working less number of hours compared to now. They're actually putting in more number of hours, more number of preparation. And always remember that teachers also have a responsibility at home, right? They have a family, right? They have to look after their essentials. They have to look after their children's education. They have to, also connect to their family bonding. So I think the teachers truly are really contributing a lot by, no matter they are staying at home, but they're ensuring that learning is happening. I'm sure all of you know that learning has stopped all across the world, right? Schools have stopped all across the world, in almost all the countries in the world. So I think the time has come that we should all thank our teachers for all that you're doing, all that they are doing, right? Let me get specific to online learning and teaching, what's happening in schools now. And I would randomly ask one of you to speak rather than following an order. So online learning and teaching is really happening in many schools. Shraddha, would you like to share your experiences about online learning and teaching happening with you? On what are the merits and what are the demerits? Okay, and like I mentioned to you, you can speak your heart. No one is blaming any school, but it is very important for teachers to realize and for schools to realize that, okay, this is the perfect model. This is working, this is not working. So all teachers who are watching this show are wanting to hear from all of you that how are you finding it, right? So that we can correct ourselves and be much better, because blended learning is going to carry on in the next academic year totally. So Shraddha, what you have got to share something about online learning and teaching?
So because I'm in 12th grade and I have 2 board exams left,
Shraddha?
I have no new portions to learn. So all that I know about online classes are from my juniors, and they've told me a lot. I have a lot of friends who are studying in 12th who are doing their new academic year, and they've told me so much about how it's different. They miss the environment in school, obviously, but they also enjoy that they can have the comfort of home while learning. And it's a very good initiative, and there's so much hard work that goes behind this, where teachers have to set it up, they have to manage what they're doing at home whilst teaching, and it's a proper schedule. So the fact that they're able to put this all together and make it happen in a very functional way is something I truly adore.
Good. And what kind of challenges you think you're facing when it comes to online teaching and learning? Shraddha?
I think the main challenge obviously would be connectivity, and the fact that some students they don't have a proper way to ensure that if everyone's paying attention. But that again depends on the students themselves. But other than technical issues, I think it can work if it's practiced a lot more and done in an efficient way.
Okay. Pragya, you would like to share something about your experience about online learning and teaching? Talk about merits and challenges also.
So we've had online learning since the lockdown started, and it's been done pretty well. So we used Zoom, like we're using right now, and there's a lot of merits of, to online teaching. I think the best thing is that you cannot forget books at home if you are studying at home. So you have all of your material in front of you. You have the teachers, and the thing is, when you've got online classes, these classes can happen at any time. The time is flexible, right? Like if you need a few minutes, you can join after a few minutes, and it's all good. It's really convenient because online classes, since it's happening online and you're at home, it sort of it removes the need for commute. So say you live far away from school, you don't need to commute so far. So it's good. And demerits, well, for every merit there will be a demerit. I'm pretty sure the demerits would be the troublemakers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we've all heard about the Zoom bombers.
Yeah.
They don't belong to the classes. They come in, they play random things. It doesn't really happen that often, but when it does, it's pretty inconvenient. So that's one thing. Another thing, as Shraddha mentioned, would be the connectivity. People sometimes they just don't have the connection required, like the high-speed internet. So that can be an issue, as well as I'd say hardware would be an issue as well for people who have lots of people at home and not enough devices. because classes, they do take quite a long time, a couple of hours every day. And sometimes at home, you cannot spare the necessary amount of devices. So I've heard that from people. And that's
Yeah, I think you're right, because imagine the whole country is sitting at home and they're all accessing data, right? So imagine the load, and maybe many are watching Netflix, different. So the load is so high. So I'm sure data is a huge challenge. Saurabh, you would like to share your thoughts?
Yeah, sure, sir. So I think Shraddha and Pragya have shared all the merits
Yeah,
of online.
yeah,
I'll just add one more, that it is inculcating tech savviness in ourselves.
yeah.
So students are becoming tech savvy. Even teachers are starting to
Mhm.
explore. It is very in the first time it was very difficult. For a lot
Yeah,
of teachers to actually go through those privacy settings, like locking meeting, setting streaming rights and all. I think due to this problem, this thing, the Zoom bombing, this was a major problem because of this, because of lack of proper privacy settings. Coming to the demerits now, I'll say that we lack personal, one-on-one teaching. Obviously, we can do that one-on-one teaching, but nothing can beat that physical access. That's what I think. And also, I would like to add that smart devices like mobile phones, laptops, computers, etc., could be very stressful for a lot of people. Some people have those eye problems, right? So it starts itching, then drying of eyes, straining, etc. So I think in the end, nothing can replace a physical pen and a paper.
that's true. I mean, I think in that point, everyone agrees, right? You cannot, a face to face, because education is all about relationships, right? You're talking to your friend sitting next to you, that kind of bonding. I'm sure you're all missing that, right? All the fun, the recess time, going out, sharing your tiffins. It's such a wonderful time in school. I'm sure you're missing all that, and your teachers. You can always, look at your teacher, ask her, meet her. Go in secrecy and share your challenges. I mean, I'm sure, but I'm sure we'll overcome all those stuff. Yeah, good. Vasudha, would you like to share?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a big shout out to the teachers, first of all. Half of the time they're taking classes.
Let's
And
give a clap to them. Come on, because we all believe in what they have been doing, right? It's amazing work.
I mean, half the time they're taking classes, and if they're not, they're busy making presentations for it, and then they're also managing things back home. So it's obviously a big deal.
Yeah.
I obviously miss how the classroom learning is, anticipating for the lunch break to come so that I can have like the half an hour to talk with my friends and then
Yeah.
catch up on the day. But the biggest merit of online learning is I can just wake up, take out my laptop, sit on my bed, and just watch the class right from my bed without going anywhere else. But the experience that comes from classroom can never be substituted to that
You
the
can never.
online learning has. You can't roam around, you can't talk up to other people, you don't have the comfortable feeling in the studying environment. But
And you
yeah,
can't and you can't look out of the window also for a second, right?
I mean, online classes don't give the facility of selecting your own speed. Every student interprets in a different speed, and then that's not possible when you're doing it all together, where communication is mostly one way rather than a two-way street. So I think people are catching up on to how the technique is, but then this could be implemented only if people get the hang of it.
Yeah, true. Good points, Vasudha. Nikhil, would you like to share?
Yes, sir. Of
And
course.
remember basketball. Remember basketball. You're missing basketball.
So every school day basically consisted of me attending class and the lunch period is going and playing basketball. There's none of that anymore. And one more thing, schools are designed in a certain way to facilitate learning, right?
Yeah.
They have the right atmosphere. It
Yeah.
doesn't make you lethargic. Whereas online learning often makes us lazy,
Very
makes us
good.
lethargic. And this is not good for the learning aspect, but otherwise, yes, it's really helpful. And in a hot place like Chennai, yes, sitting in classrooms is a real pain. But I would still prefer it over online classes, to be completely frank.
I agree. I mean, you got that good point, because school, the environment also matters a lot, right? Because you need to get in the right environment so that the learning actually happens. And of course, the screen time is one thing which people have been talking about, right? Which is a big concern. Arushi, your thoughts?
So in our what we are doing is we are having videos uploaded
Okay.
rather than online classes. So
Okay.
why I like this method is because all students have different paces of learning. People learn at a different pace.
Good.
So whenever you feel stuck, you could always go rewind the video. You could rewatch it, and if you have any doubts, we always go approach our teachers, and we also have doubt clearing sessions. So I mean, as everyone is saying, I would also prefer going back to school and studying, because there's something about school that you cannot change. But also at the same time, this is the only time I'm allowed to use electronic devices without having any restrictions. And this is, yeah, like, the comfort of sitting at your home and you're watching the screen and you're learning. It's a completely different experience. And in a way, our teachers in schools, and we as students are also becoming tech savvy. We are also learning new methods and all. The demerits of online learning is, obviously, we do not have the emotional connect. I mean, emotions have also become virtual now. If you want to congratulate someone, or want to tell a student that it's a good point, you give a thumbs up or you put the clapping emoji. So it has changed completely in this time.
Yeah, and just seeing an emoji doesn't boost you up, right? You feel still such a lot of vacuum, right? That imagine giving an emoji on a video lesson, and when a real lesson, when you're actually patting the back, or your teacher comes and pats your back, I mean, huge difference, right?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Anubhav, would you like to share?
Yeah. This, like, the impact of COVID-19 on education has been a lot. Like, my whole life has been changed. From sitting in the class to sitting on my bedroom. I remember that, like, when I used to feel tired in school, I would take a deep breath, and the school air, like, it would fill my lungs and I would feel refreshed, right?
Yeah.
And at home, we are sitting in our bedrooms and taking it that bedroom air with our conditioners on. So I don't feel like it's making an, it's refreshing us. So I know there are some good points of staying at home and learning, but nothing beats school.
Yeah, true. Yash, would you like to share your thoughts? And one request to everyone: when you speak, you can speak louder, because there are some viewers who are mentioning about that we should speak louder. Okay, so raise your voice. Okay, carry on. Yash.
Yeah, so everyone has talked about the merits of online learning, but I think I have to add on some of the demerits. So, everyone is talking about the comfortability of studying when you're at home, but that's the exact problem I have with online learning. Because when you're at home, you can't get into that learning atmosphere that you have in school. And another thing is the lack of discipline. I mean, school is all about discipline. You wear uniforms, you have to come at time, you have to follow certain periods. I mean, you have classes back to back and this and that, all types of discipline are there. But in online learning, that is majorly missing. Another thing I want to talk about is when you study in a class, when you're in a class and your teacher gives you questions to solve, then there is just a 40 to 50 seconds window in which you can solve that question. So your brain doesn't work properly. Like, being a science student, my brain has to work at its most effective speed so that I can learn those concepts at hand. Because if I don't learn them at hand, I'm not going to get the concepts that are taught after that. And so it just piles up the process. And that's one of the things that been majorly missing in this online learning.
Yeah, so they say it's not only your head and heart, and also hand is so important, right? All these three elements are so important for learning to happen. So I totally agree. The missing one huge component can be very dangerous in understanding concepts. Yeah, Khushi, would you add? Would you like to add some Khushi to the whole discussion?
Sure. I completely agree with everyone, whatever the merits and demerits they have spoken about. But one merit is that just right now, that's the best experience. One of my best experience during this lockdown period is that with the students all over the India, and actually we're going Facebook Live right now. So basically, we are sharing, exchanging our thoughts. We are exploring
Yeah.
our perspectives and sharing. So that is, I think, one of the merits which
Yeah.
in the classroom courses wouldn't have been there. Obviously, we have like panel discussions, but basically this is a new kind of experience that every one of us is experiencing. But one more
Yeah.
demerit I would like to add upon is that since most of us are in class 12, so this is our last year. So we need to, we have to be in the classroom, right? Basically spending most of the time with our teacher, with our friends, having, so basically I'm remembering all my classrooms, my playing, the notorious movements I do in the class, sharing lunches and all of that. So basically, there are merits, but also demerits also. But basically, I prefer classroom classes only.
I agree. And one thing we have to remember that, this online learning might continue in higher education, right? So when you step into higher education, you might continue in that, right? So, so this, of course, the topics and the professors, the way they would teach using online learning would be slightly different, right? Because higher education has embraced technology much faster than schools, Yeah, Himanshi, would you like to add?
Yes, so I feel like classroom learning is more and much better than your online classes, because there we get a platform of exchanging our thoughts and sitting face to face, interacting. Like their teachers also, they choose, and they can only get our option, like this student has not got, from the face expression she could make out like this student is not able to understand whatever the concepts I'm teaching. So I think that exchanging those thoughts, that ideas, I think that is more comfortable we can do in classroom course. Whereas in online course, I feel like I'm becoming more relaxed and lethargic, and I'm like okay, we'll do it later. We then procrastinating my work every day, which is getting piled up day by day. So I don't want that thing. So, but we are stuck in the lockdown, but we have to get out of the way anyway. So we are facing a challenge. So I think now we can manage whatever we are doing. So I think, yeah,
Yeah, good
all
point.
the rest points are similar to others only.
Yeah, good point. Because when a teacher actually teaches in a classroom, when she actually
Yeah.
moves inside the classroom, right? She's not moving just, it's not like a physical exercise. She's actually moving so that she can look at students and see that who needs more support. How can I reach to those kind of kids, right? That's why she actually, and it's a very important teaching strategy to move inside the classroom. It's very, very important. So teachers
And
who
at
just
that time,
stand in front
student
of
also
you.
become confident,
Huh,
at least teacher is able to get me. Otherwise,
yes.
in online classes, how would a teacher know that whether that student has got that concept or not? So I think this have
But I
been
think
a
the
little.
way the learnings even the edtech companies are getting, right, the technology companies are getting all these kind of merits and demerits. I'm sure they would actually work using various technology, using AI, different ideas to actually add more flavor to all these demerits. Because this is a big learning time
Yeah.
for them too. Saurabh,
Yes.
how is it happening in your school?
So in my school we were using Zoom before, but there were a lot of problems, things,
Yeah.
obviously. So after that, we obviously took a lot of steps to prevent it if
Yeah.
possible, but it was going out of our hands. So the management of our school banned the usage of Zoom, and then we shifted to Microsoft Teams. In Microsoft Teams also there were some problems in the initial times. People were bombing in, but later we sorted it. So later with the privacy settings and obviously that Microsoft interface, so now it's smooth and simple for us.
Okay, but how do you find the environment? Is it different compared to a school?
Yes, it is very different. So personally, I prefer going to school, and I'm not a person who can sit at home and study. because, you know, if I talk about me, then I prefer to sit in school libraries after school and study and complete my portion over there. So I don't get that proper home atmosphere, especially when my parents are around. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think nothing can beat a school.
So so in short, I also understand that no matter in technology, you have got a lot of privacy settings to handle. But when you're sitting at home with everyone around, your privacy settings is also a little bit difficult to manage,
Exactly,
right?
sir.
It's so
Exactly.
difficult because someone might just crop in and say, "Oh, come on, what are you doing so great? Come on, you know." Because I think that everyone, the parent and the teachers, everyone are actually only understanding the importance of what they are, you know, what's happening in today's
Yes.
life.
Yes.
So
And
yeah, please, you want to
and
say?
subjects like mathematics and you know, physics and all, I think they're quite difficult to
Yeah, absolutely,
actually.
absolutely, absolutely. You might need to probably set up a small lab inside your at home, right? So some things which have to be done practical, and I'm sure schools will do that. I've seen a school now conducting assemblies, right, in the morning, so they all play their keyboard, and so as a regular kind of assembly. I'm sure small, you know, schools will evolve with small labs, you know, where you can actually do practical stuff, because learning without actually doing is not education. It is that's why they always say distance education was more suited for higher ed, not so much for schools, because in schools you have to feel people, you have to talk, you have to do, you know, because that's the age for you to do. Good. I'm sure I'm covered everyone. Aryan, I spoke to you, right? I
No, sir.
spoke to you, no? Oh, okay, please, Aryan, please.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to say a big thank you to all the teachers out there,
Yeah.
because a teacher is like a candle which consumes itself to lighten up the way for others.
Yeah.
Now, about the merits and demerits, I think all of them have covered most of the points.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
guess I have found some loopholes which I would like to cover.
Yeah.
So first of all, I would like to cover the demerits of online learning. India is a country with the youth population which is teeming currently.
Yeah.
The population is growing each and every day, and the youth, we need to identify their skills. They may be specially abled. We need to recognize the speciality within them. So that is very essential. And for that, classroom learning is the ideal one, in which you get your teacher with you, alongside you. Teacher is there to guide you in each
Yeah.
and every problem.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. In case of online learning, that social and emotional touch, which is there in your classroom, is absent.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. Another thing is that, of course, friends. We are all missing our friends. The
Absolutely.
reaction on our friends' faces have been replaced by those yellow emojis.
You can say hi to all your friends. You want to say
Oh,
hi?
hi.
Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah. So another thing is that we need to socially develop ourselves, because learning is not just limited to our school textbooks.
Yeah.
Learning is something beyond that. Learning in the school of life. And for that, we need to get out. We need to explore more and more adventures, more and more social issues. The more and more social issues we face, the more development takes place within us as a person.
Yeah.
So that is very important. And that can only happen when you go to a school. You meet different types of people, you understand them, you understand the characteristics of different people. So that is very essential. And another thing is that if we talk about the demerits of online learning, then that can be random students creating nuisance, scribbling on the teacher's screen, or playing music in case if the instructor has left them unmute.
But that
So that
also
can be one of the
happens in real face-to-face teaching, right? You also have some children in the classroom, some students who are actually having, not in this, trying to do something funny, right?
Indeed, indeed. The classroom is filled with each and every element which you
Yeah.
can find.
Yeah.
But on another note, this is a very nostalgic year for me, standard 10th, last year of my school, but I'm not seeing much of it. So I'm feeling really sad. But then let's hope for the best and be prepared for the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so nice to hear all your perspectives. And like I was sharing with you when we did our mock, we also have to remember so many children who are not able to continue their learning, right? There's so many, we are so privileged, right? We are so thankful to God that we have a home, we have devices, we have data, we have a good school to back us up. But there are so many children who are not able to access online learning, right?
Yes, digital poverty.
Yeah, and how do we, I just want to quickly ask you that in just quickly, how we can actually support these children, right? We also have a responsibility towards these children, right, who are not able to access.
Yes.
Do you have some,
Indeed.
do you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
some thought, all of you? I mean, I would just ask you randomly, you can, anyone who wants to answer, you can just unmute yourself and answer.
Okay, sir. So
Like,
can I continue?
yeah, please.
So this digital poverty, sir, as you spoke, is one of the most difficult, one of the most important, what can I say? One of the most difficult situations we are facing in the current times, and it needs to be overcome. And for that, I've got a few solutions. So suppose if we can create a partnership between public and private sector in which the government contributes something and the private sectors contribute something, because the government has limited funds. And in fact, if we consider that our economy is this much, then about 20% of it is going due to the coronavirus pandemic. So 20% of it, and from that, suppose if we remove the food essential services and the health services, then only this much comes for the education. And out of that, half of that goes to the salary of the teachers and peons.
Yeah.
Or the staff and faculty. So that is the one drawback, that we don't have enough funds. So we can create this partnership between private and public sectors.
I just want to add here, there is a portal which is started by the Ministry of HRD known as Vidyadan, which allows you to upload content. So, you know, schools can, even if you're a private school, you can upload content, and it's a big kind of repository which they are trying to build, where, you know, people can access all types of content, especially regional content, right? And I would humbly request all of you that you should think about, maybe one of your maid servants' child is back at home, not having an access to learning. Maybe you can, you know, do online learning for them, right? Maybe lower grade, you can spend maybe half an hour, 1 hour, find some time. So I think the way is that if everyone passes that responsibility and everyone takes the response, so you are getting online learning, how do I probably adopt one child for online learning and carry the chain, right? If that chain happens, you know, of course, the challenge they face is devices, right? Because many of them don't have devices, but most of them have got smartphones. So don't take too much time. I think even half an hour teaching them some concepts or giving them some access of content would really help. You know, do you think we can? There's no rush to think about now, but I'm just seeding this in your mind so that you can talk among your friends, among your schools, that can we do. And I'm sure many of your schools might also be doing it, right? Because this kind of logos I'm seeing of the schools, I know many of the school leaders, and I know many of them are really indebted towards their social causes, right? So I'm rushing back from online learning because we are running short of time. I've got some quick questions which I wanted to answer, and let's keep it very, very quick, right? So I'm sure you watch Netflix, Prime, you know, or maybe Hotstar, or maybe Z5. There's so many apps and so many services. Which is the favorite movie recently which you saw? Yash, you can start.
So recently, I've been watching a lot of American classics, as per se. So Pulp Fiction has become my recent favorite.
Good. One point here is which I want to share from my experiences. I watch regional languages also. This is the best opportunity to watch some other language. So I have not missed a Punjabi movie, a Bengali movie, a Marathi movie. Of course, because you have subtitles to see, right? So it just helps you. And there are so beautiful movies besides our regular Hindi or English movies. There are many. You should just give a try to this. Okay, just a thought in my mind. Pragya, you want to share which movie you like?
Oh yeah,
Recently watched?
I've actually watched quite a lot of movies. I've delved into lots of different genres, but I feel like at this point in time, the ones that hit hardest are the dystopian ones, like the ones about pandemics, like towards the beginning of the coronacation, as you could say. lots of people talked about this
Yeah.
movie called Contagion. I watched that, and it pretty much mirrors today's life, and I thought it was a pretty good movie.
Okay. Vasudha?
I'm a huge movie buff, especially in Bollywood. So right now I'm just going back and catching up on the old classic rom-coms like DDLJ, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I mean, it's been long since I watched it, so I thought I'll just give it another shot,
Good.
keep watching it again and again.
Good. Yeah. Arushi?
So like everyone else, I've been also catching up on movies. So I've been watching few classics, and one of them was Forrest Gump. I really liked the movie, so that's one of them. And other than watching movies, I'm reading a lot of books. So one of the books I'm reading is about the Kashmiri Pandits. So it's called Our Moon Has Blood Clots. So that's what I'm doing currently.
Mm. Good. Aryan?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. This one thing I would like to share, that I'm not at all a Netflix buff or an Amazon Prime buff. Actually, I cannot.
Good.
Even if I start watching a series, I cannot continue watching it. I skip it after some time. I go on another series. But I don't watch much of Netflix or Amazon Prime. What I do is I watch movies. There's one website which is known as myflixer.com. You can watch movies on that. You can download all the movies which you can get for free. But the movie which I recently watched was Spider-Man: Far From Home, and it was really good. I had actually it had released some time back, but I had missed it due to my examinations. So I watched it again, and I'm rewatching the Avengers series. I'm a big fan of Marvel. And I'm also a fan of Harry Potter series. So I really like those movies too.
It's amazing. It's so much de-stressing us, right? When you actually watch
Yeah,
movies.
indeed.
But watching, there are so many movies which talks about the previous pandemic. Sometimes it adds a lot of stress. Also, you have to remember that, right? It adds a lot of stress to our lives also. So Anubhav?
Yeah. So I do like to watch movies, but I would prefer TV shows. One of the TV shows that I have been watching is The Good Doctor. It's about the life of a doctor who has autism and how he tracks his life. And a movie I have watched recently is The Lion King, the live action remake of it, because the original one came out before I was born, I think. So it was good to catch up on that.
Very nice. Kushi?
Okay, so basically, if I talk about myself, that I'm literally not interested in watching a lot of movies. But recently, I watched a Bollywood movie that's really very influential and motivational. That's the Angrezi medium. And also, I have some Hollywood movies and web series like The Office, Interstellar, and Bruce Almighty in my wish list. So surely I would be watching soon.
Yeah. Good. Himanshi? Himanshi, are you there? Can I move to Saurabh?
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, sir, actually,
please.
Talking about movies, I recently watched the movies based on Roald Dahl novels. So I watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda. I think I had read the whole novel of these two books when I was in fifth. Yeah, when I was in fourth, fifth, in primary section. Then I love web series. So I've recently watched Special Ops on Hotstar. So it talks about 2001 Parliament attacks. It is a thriller. It is a suspense. I just love KK Menon in that. And also I'm watching The Final Call on Z5. It is based on a life of airline pilot. So it is also based on a novel.
Yeah. I think I'm having some difficulty hearing. Saurabh?
Yep. Yes, sir.
So we can hear you. Can you,
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Francis, sir, can you say something?
See, I got dropped. This is the challenge of technology, right? But yeah, sorry, I'm back now. Shraddha, Shraddha is here. Shraddha,
Yes,
you want to share? I don't know
yeah.
whether I
So,
covered you.
I'm watching both movies and TV series, and a lot of them. I spend like most of my day just sitting and watching Netflix or Amazon Prime shows. So movies, I watched one recently. Truman. I watched two actually. Truman Show and The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which I really liked. TV shows, I've been trying to catch up on a few Spanish TV shows because I really love the language, and I've also watched How to Get Away with Murder.
So I think, hello?
Yes, sir. So we have Himanshu also
I
joined
think,
us now.
yeah. Himanshi, you want to share?
Uh, yes, sir. So I also don't watch Netflix and Amazon Prime. I just watch television. Currently, means I've been watching is Ramayan. That is old classic Ramayan, which has been going on. Like my parents, when they were in their childhood, they also watched the same. So I'm learning new things from it. And when I'm talking about TV shows and all, I'm looking for a comedy one which can make me smile and give me a power to face this challenge every day. So I watch like Kapil Sharma show that everyone watches. I'm just
Yeah.
watching their old episodes and all that.
I think I'm so happy that many of you are going back, because sometimes you discover a lot of happiness when you actually dig more and more, right? They say you find the treasure which is always
Yes,
hidden down.
yes.
So I think, yeah, so lot
Hmm.
of simplicity is there in old life, which probably you'll enjoy when you are actually staying home. Yeah. Did I miss out Nikhil?
Yeah.
Nikhil, you want to share quickly?
I don't watch a lot of movies, but I watch TV shows. I've been watching Breaking Bad recently. It's pretty
Do you
good.
play? Do you play on technology, basketball, esports?
I honestly find that very depressing.
Yeah. But they
So
say
I watch.
that so many people who used to play football are actually on esports, right? And even many
Yeah,
footballers are actually playing against each other, and they have come into the FIFA game, right?
it reminds me too much of the actual game, sir. So
Good. Did I miss out anyone else? Okay. So I think Kanan, can we get some questions, because since we are running short of time.
Yes, sir. So one question we have is from Mr. Balamurugan from
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Dear students, what is the relationship with your parents after lockdown? Are you reacting or responding, and how are they motivating you?
So one of you can volunteer to answer that. So who would like to answer? And let's give a chance to everyone. Yeah, Vasudha, please. We'll give everyone a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think parents can go either two ways. Either they tell you that you have a lot of time, so you can just while away time right now, or they say that you have time in hand, so use this time to study well for the coming exams. And I think my parents have gone the second option. I've been studying a lot more, but then involved a lot in the house chores as well. And then, we have this family bonding session in the evening where all of us sit together at the dining table and just chat upon what we've been doing all day. And I think this lockdown has really given everyone a chance to, catch up about how everybody is actually even doing. So I think it's great that it's happening.
Good, good, good. Yeah, Kanan, the next question.
Yes, sir. The next question is by Ms. Suparna Mehrotra. How do these 12th graders perceive the future with college life, taking a beating for sure, at least for the year ahead?
I'm sure it won't be a beating, because I think we are all getting into a new education model, right? But as a 12th grader, who would like to take this question? Twelfth graders, come on, raise your hand. Who wants to? Okay, come on, Anubhav.
Yeah, so about college, I think I know what I want to do, but there aren't any many resources to research upon. Like the college applications are not updated yet, so they are still for the previous session, and I can't contact anybody about it because everybody is at their homes and nobody is in the office, so I can't really call anyone.
Yeah, so I just want to add to this. Many people, many students who are planning to go abroad, right, for higher education. And so I have a friend's daughter who is wanting to do the same. And she was mentioning to me that, if I go abroad and if I have to only do online, then what is the point, right? I want to go and be in the campus, right? Otherwise, I can be doing either in Coursera or Udemy or somewhere. I can do an online. So I think everyone wants a campus life, be it in school or college, right? And without a campus life, you're going to be missing something great, right? Over to you, Kanan. Next question.
Yes, sir. So the next question is by Miss Devi. Dear students, what is the one lesson from this lockdown?
Yeah, one lesson only. One lesson. Come on, Nikhil. Yeah.
Well, there have been many lessons which we need to learn, but I think one thing this lockdown has really taught us is how to adjust the situations accordingly. Because the more versatile we are, the better we'll adjust to more problems we may face in the future. And we need to learn to become more accommodating, and we need to accept what is in front of us.
It's almost like you are being yourself. God has given you an opportunity to be yourself, right? Kushi, you wanted to say something. You just raised your hand to the same question.
I exactly agree with Nikhil, but basically what just we can do is accept the reality and move on. We have got a lot of time to improve our personality development. We can undergo a lot of things. Like apart from our coachings and schools also, we can do a lot of things, right? Like basically undergoing or pursuing our hobbies. Maybe those hobbies which we are passionate about be converted into our career, like in future, because we have one more year to think upon all of that.
Yeah, good. Aryan will take the next question, so that there's enough time for everyone to talk. Yeah, Kanan, please.
Yes, sir. So this question is actually for you by Mr. Rajiv Pandey. So what is your favorite movie?
Okay, so I watch all types of movies. So like I said, I watch regional movies. I don't know. Money Heist is one of my favorite series, and people are big fan of Money Heist, and we actually waited for the moment when the next season came in. Big fan of Professor Tokyo. You know. So anyway, so that's a favorite one. No matter, I don't support what they do, but I think I like the way a Spanish web series actually picked on. And there is an episode attached to it, where they talk about their journey of being only a Spanish small series till the time they came to Netflix, and how they jumped in popularity, right? So I think that's my favorite. Will always remain my favorite. Yeah. Kanan, over to you.
Yes, sir. So the next question is by Revati Srinivasan, ma'am. She is asking which is the most relevant life skill that we need to master when we are facing a challenge such as this.
And this is not for Aryan. Okay, because that's his principle. So I will push this to Pragya.
I feel like an important, trait to have is flexibility here. Like Nikhil and Kushi mentioned before, it's important to adapt, right? So the thing, like one of the biggest lessons here and the biggest trait to develop because of the lesson is that you have to be ready for anything. Nobody really expected a pandemic to come. Nobody really thought that, yeah, it's 2020, we're going to be stuck at home for months. So when life throws a wrench into your plans, you need to be ready to take it all and to do the best with what you have. So flexibility would be the best trait to develop during this time.
Good. Yeah, please, Kanan.
Yes, sir. So the next question is by Ms. Jonaki Banerjee. How many times in a day do you say, when do we rejoin?
So you mean rejoin the school?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how many of you, there's a common question, how many of you, if you miss your school, raise your hand? Any day. Trust me, everyone misses the school. Yeah, so pointed, how fast you want to join? You want to join immediately after lockdown, or you want to take one more month, have fun, or join?
I would love to
I
join.
want to join right now.
Okay,
Can't wait
done.
to join in,
So
sir.
As soon as
Rumu,
possible.
unmute yourself and scream your voice that we want to come back. Come on, together we can unmute and we can, let's just bring our voices out. You want to join now? You want to go back to school?
Now, at this moment.
You want to come back right now?
Not.
Immediately, like if you will ask me that can I join right now, so immediately the next minute I'll be reaching my school. Like that's excited I am to just get back.
This is for all the schools and the teachers that the students miss you more than anything, right? And this is the period they've understood your value, right? As schools, probably they've realized how important the life of a teacher is, right? And of course, parents too, because they've been backing you and supporting you so much. Thank you. Yeah, Kanan, over to you next.
Yes, sir. So the next question is by Mr. Arogya Reddy. What or how have the students contributed to the society or pandemic? What's your, in bracket, students' social responsibility?
Okay, so this is specific to contribution. If you are, I'm sure because everyone is staying home, and that's itself is a responsibility. I feel that you have stayed home, so that's a tick mark to all of you that you've all stayed home. Okay, that's one responsibility you've done. Anything else you have been involved with? Like I gave you some thoughts about supporting other children. Even if someone is very anxious, probably you have called and pacified them not to worry. It happens in the family. You have your grandparents, you have your parents who are very anxious, right? Say nothing to worry. Yeah. Anyone want to share? Himanshi, yeah.
Like you talked about grandparents. So in this pandemic, the most, the weakest immunity system they have. So we need to save them. We need to guide them. So every day I just call them and I just ask, so what are you doing to, boost your immunity? How you are doing? Are you wearing mask? They run a shop. So I just tell them, you should not run. You don't run the shop every day. You should just open for 2 hours. So I do give them suggestions every day. I do ask about their health and what are they doing now, what they have done now, how they will be doing in the future. They should, aware about the surrounding. So they basically live in my native area, Punjab, where they don't have so much knowledge and awareness. So I'm telling them that they should aware other people also around them, because one of the positive case they have got in their area. So
I think that's a good point, because we should one of the biggest challenges is mental health, and we should remove the anxiety level. We are educated, we understand the importance of staying at home. We should help others to understand also, right? And that's how we are helping the government, and that's all what you are expected to do right away, right? Yeah, Aryan, you want to add?
Yes, thank you, sir. So what I wanted to say is that during this pandemic, the worst stricken are the young children and the old people.
Yeah.
The old people as well as the young children, what they want is attention, love, and a bit of care.
Yeah.
So I would like to say this to all the people who are watching this live stream. If you've got your grandparents at your home or your parents, then just hug them, say them I love you, because they are the ones who are going to get you through this.
Yeah.
That's it.
Good. Saurabh, yeah. Yeah, please, Saurabh.
Yes, sir. So I completely agree with Aryan and Himanshi that we should look after our parents, grandparents, everyone. But there's a there is someone who is badly, like, who is struck by this pandemic so bad that it can't be expressed. They are like dying of hunger outside, and those are the stray animals. In my vicinity there are a lot of stray dogs and cats. Obviously the police is feeding them as and when the time permits, but it is not always. So what my family is doing is that we are trying to feed stray dogs and cats as and when possible near our vicinity.
So I think it's very important when you start doing small acts, you always be under protection. So you're always under confined. There are many NGOs, there are many people who are backing them up, so you can also support them, spread the word around, So good. Yeah, Kanan, next question.
Yes, sir. So the next question is by Mr. Joyson. Do you think it will be a problem for students to get back to school life once reopened?
So I think we are in a time when it's going to be like a blended education model where online is going to be a huge area in the next academic year, because till the vaccine is found, no one is safe, right? So even if you cannot call a place corona free without a vaccine. So it's simple common sense. I'm not a medical expert, but that's simple common sense. So we will need to ensure that physical distancing happens, but we need to also ensure that emotionally we do not create a distance between people, right? It's like a balance we'll have to find out. We would definitely, schools have to wake up, start making their schools, campuses safe. If they're not doing online, they have to improvise on it and start doing online. They have to create structures on how schools can be run. In Australia, they're doing it 1 day a week school and rest day online. Ontario announced of 2 day a week school and online. So I think India will also wake up to such kind of structures. But learning cannot stop, right? And my humble request is, even if you do not have online done by your school, you can always get into various platforms. There is edX, there is Coursera, there is Udemy. There are so many areas. You think what is suitable for you, and you can actually do something or the other. Also encourage all the people, especially the parents, the fathers and the mothers who have had stopped learning for years together because they're looking after their home. It's an opportunity. Children, you can enroll them into one online course, so that they also know what you are going through. Take on some small skill like problem solving or negotiation, enroll them into the course, and help your parents or your grandparents to do an online course. This is the way everyone has to sink in, right? So I think, like students, teachers have to be prepared, school has to be prepared, but the coming academic year, everyone has to put in their 100% to make it running. That's a short message. Yeah, Kanu.
Yes, sir. So I think this can be the last question, and
Yeah.
we have the viewer, Mr. Kishore, who has asked. I want Arushi to answer this question.
Yeah.
What do you feel is online classes boon or bane?
Why specifically Arushi? Where is he from? Is he from
So,
Hyderabad?
I'm not sure. I can only see his name.
Acha, okay. Arushi, over to you.
So, like everything, like a coin has two sides. Online learning and online education also has two sides of it. So right now, there's nothing much we could do than learning online. Like we cannot go outside, go back to our school. So online learning is one way. And what I would like to say is that online learning is the new normal now. This is how it's gonna be in the future. And what it's a boon and a bane at the same time. Majorly a boon, because we are we're developing ourselves, we're introducing technology into our lives, and we're changing the way we did things. but bane in the sense there's issues of cybersecurity that arises at times. There are students do not focus much at home when they're studying because the environment is completely of comfort. And also apart from that, the way I see online learning could happen is only when discipline and rhythm is maintained. So if you
Yeah.
have the discipline, then you could, focus in your classes and it would not be a problem. And if you maintain the rhythm of, not procrastinating your work, and you keep doing your work, following the classes, keep asking questions whenever you're stuck, that's when online learning and you would go hand in hand. And so, yeah, I think everything has its own merits and demerits. And right now, looking at the situation, we should focus more on the merits so that we do not, come to the negativity around.
Good point. Just Kanan, just 2 minutes, because I think she raised about cyber security. Would anyone want to share a bit about cyber security? That's a big issue, right? They say that technology can be used as an instruction, it can be used as a distraction and distraction also. So anyone want to share? One of you, yeah, Aryan, please.
Yeah, cybersecurity is indeed a big issue in the current times because we are, generally, all the people are using online networking services, Zoom, Skype. Then you've got AnyDesk, and another application you have is TeamViewer. So basically, online cybersecurity, there were some cases in Mumbai which I would like to share. Recently, the cyber cell of our Mumbai Police Department, they set out a news which said that there were emails which were sent to people which said that we have got your video and we have got all your information and details with us, and we'll post that, and we have seen that you have visited this or this X-rated site, and we are going to post it to all your contacts. So this is one of the problems which we are facing, and for that I would suggest that we increase our security. We install a proper antivirus in our computer. That's all we can do. Otherwise, this is the only thing we are dependent on, the online learning system, and it cannot be replaced, at least in the current situation.
Good. Yeah. So yeah, I think, but make it quick, Pragya, and Saurabh, last two, but make it quick.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things in cybersecurity right now in relation to online classes on Zoom, at least, would be the Zoom bombing. And apart from that, I'd say hacking into other people's devices is also pretty easy if the target is gullible enough or if they're not careful. So as you mentioned, there are various online websites where you can learn things. They do also offer courses on hacking, which makes it easy for like anyone to learn how to hack into anyone's system. So I feel like an important thing that we have to do is take care of our devices, and we have to be aware of what behavior is actually suspicious and what is not. And we just need to like keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah. Yeah, Saurabh, quickly.
Yes, sir. So even I wanted to concentrate on Zoom bombing because I don't know if everyone is aware about this, but when Zoom was caught with cybersecurity issues, there were like the hackers literally, they were like on Facebook, they were posting like anything, like whatever the user data they got. Some hackers posted that on Facebook and it went viral in just some minutes. Also, it was found that there were some Zoom accounts that were going on sale or in the gray market. Also, I would like to also add that so the Zoom iOS app, it has been founded by the researchers that the iOS app of Zoom was actually sending the analytics data. So the data, like whatever you're watching, how you're using your system, everything. And Zoom was also caught with an issue in which it installed an application in the background without users permission, nothing. So it was caught. And yeah, I think these were the biggest issues of Zoom, and most of them have been sorted now. So your microphone is...
I just want to add here saying that every technology apps or everything can be very unsure. You can be very unsure and unsafe if you don't know how to use it, if you don't know how to set the privacy settings. Talking about data, we are right now on Facebook, we are on Zoom, we are on Google, and for all of them, data is very precious, and we are actually letting off all our data all across, right? It's a bigger issue, and that issue was always there, right? But probably people are realizing it much better now because we are using technology, right? So, and it's very easy to create a kind of momentum, but I think every kind of app and every kind of technology and application, you have to be very, very careful on your privacy settings and your misuse of data. Aryan, I don't know whether we have enough time for you to ask question. Kanan, Aryan wants to ask one question to everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
We can
please,
go
Aryan,
ahead.
over to you. Aryan.
Thank you so much, sir. So there's this one issue I would like to highlight upon. We spoke about the animals who are suffering during this pandemic. We spoke about the children who are economically backwards, or the people who are economically backwards during this current situation.
Who are
But
underserved. I
yeah,
call it underserved.
understood. But I would like to mention this one more thing, that
Yeah.
there's this another group of unfortunate children who are not able to cope up with their academics, who are dyslexic or they are specially abled. They're not able to cope up with their academics, and there is I wanted to ask it to everyone that what is the possible solution to this? How can we help them?
So I think it is every school has to ponder over it, how we can actually reach out to these kind of children, right? And it's the school responsibility to extend their hand, right? There are many tools and many apps which can be used to engage with these special children. There are many tools, right from the people who are blind. There are many apps where you can actually engage with them and ensure learning happening. We'll have to start doing a lot of research on it. I would advise that young students like you should do a research on this. Probably under if Brainfeed agrees, probably they can keep this group gathering together and do a research on what kind of technology apps are available to reach to these kind of kids. There are many, right? But someone has to dig into it and let us. And once you do that, I would request Brainfeed Magazine, probably they can bring it out to more people, probably print it out so that more people can get access to these apps. It's all, see, everything is there. We'll have to get into and do it. Of course, in for those children, face to face and personal bonding is most important, right? That's one area which is a huge gap. So the kind of impact it is going to have on those kids is much higher because they are not meeting their teachers. They are so connected. They are more strongly connected than we are with our teachers, right? For them, that's the life. Having a teacher with them is life. Similarly, for early years children, right, as small as nursery, junior, you try, if the teacher takes a 2-day off, right, the child will be totally out of learning because the child has got so used to. So I think those kind of kids, right at the early years, those kind of kids who are very specially blessed are all going to face the challenges due to the face-to-face learning. But let's identify, do a research on what other technology offers for them. Kanan, if you can put a word across to your team to
Definitely, sir.
yeah, so there are many apps, there are many ways you can engage their children so that these students can propose that, and maybe schools should actually look at extending that to these kind of schools. That's a
Definitely,
very
sir.
good thought. That's a very good
Yes,
thought.
sir.
Let's think of
Definitely.
everyone who's affected by the learning. And if you go to the UNESCO site, right, you will see every day how many schools are closed, how many affected learners are there. There are almost like 92% students who are school going students who are affected by learning. That number, if you see, it makes you cry, right? Because the whole world has stopped going to schools. But at least learning has not stopped, and learning should never stop. So let us see that wherever learning is stopped, can we extend that to those people? Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Kanan, any other question you want to take, or should we summarize?
Yes, so we have all the questions answered, so we can
Okay.
summarize.
So I think it was great to have all of you today. To hear your voice, I know it's a very internet went up and down, but our voice was very clear. One thing which I all observed from all of you is that you're all wanting to go back to school. Do you agree? Yes or no? Yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes, sir,
Just put a thumbs
absolutely.
up. Just put a thumbs up. That should be
Definitely,
good
sir.
enough.
Definitely.
And you miss your teachers,
Indeed.
right?
Yes.
And you're all ready. You're all happy with the way the school is actually doing online learning because it is adding value. The challenge comes from the technology, not from the teachers. The teacher are actually putting the maximum. The problem is the technology is not ready for online learning to happen, right? So if the technology was much smarter, I think the demerits of online learning would be overcome, and which I'm sure will happen in the future. It was great to have all of you from different cities. Keep contributing, keep staying at home, keep educating your parents. I gave you some thoughts. Enroll them into some online courses. I'll be very happy to see them, doing some skills. Learn some new skills. I learned, like I shared with you, I learned to be a barber. I cut the hair. I mean, my son's hair yesterday, it was a total mess. But I think I knew the value of a barber. Like I always say, this is the best time for vocational education. Being a plumber, being an electrician, this is the best moment. So learn some skills, and looking forward for all of you. Don't worry about your examinations. I'm sure the boards are actually very focused. The government is very focused to ensure that continuity of grades would happen. And very soon, by staying home, we are going to overcome this pandemic. Okay. So thank you so much. And can we do a namaste together, all of you? Can we do a namaste together to all the people watching us? Yes, raise your hand. Yeah, namaste. And Kanan, you can
Namaste.
also come on the screen. We want to see your namaste also. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Be in
So
touch.
it was our pleasure to have you on this event.
Thank
Bye,
you. Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much,
It was
everyone.
great speaking to you, sir.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
ma'am.
much, sir.
Bye bye. See
Thank you
you.
so much,
for
ma'am.
having us.